Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we're continuing our study of the letter to the Colossians by the Apostle Paul. And we're in chapter 2, and we're just going to read verses 8 through 10 today. And I know we're in the middle of a sentence, but that's as far as we're going to go today. So, last time we were together, in the beginning of chapter 2, the Apostle Paul transitions from talking about his ministry to talking about their situation by mentioning how much he struggles for them in prayer. And then he talks about the rich, abundant life of faith one can have when one knows Jesus and follows Jesus. And he says all mysteries are contained in Jesus, in whom are hidden all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. That's in Jesus Christ. And this is leading to what he wants to say, to address these false teachers that are plaguing them. And what he wants to say is said just plainly and directly in verses 8 and 10, 8 through 10. So let's read those verses. See through it that no one takes you captive through philosophy and empty deception, according to the tradition of men, according to the elementary principles of the world, rather than according to Christ. For in him all the fullness of deity dwells in bodily form, and in him you have been made complete, and he is the head over all rule and authority. Well, we'll read verse 10 again tomorrow because we're in the middle of a sentence, but this is his point. You've got people who are intelligent and good at arguing, and they are taking you captive with philosophy and empty deception, according to traditions of men and the elementary principles of the world. He's talking about long-standing traditions and long-held precepts that people are using, and they're applying human reason, human philosophy, schools of philosophy. They're applying these systems to, and they're going from A to B to C to D, and they are convincing the Colossians to be people Jesus never asked them to be. When we should understand this, because we are living in a culture very much shaped by the Enlightenment, which trusts implicitly the human ability to reason. Reason is our best tool to arrive at truth. I'm not disputing that. But as I said yesterday, just because someone is better at arguing doesn't mean they're right. And it doesn't mean their reasoning isn't flawed just because they're the most persuasive person in the room. And we can take human systems and apply them to all kinds of things and arrive based upon the system that we use at different conclusions, and they're all wrong because human reason comes from human beings, and human beings are flawed. Human reason is a flawed process to begin with, and God has made everything simple. He has not made anything difficult. The things that we need to know to be saved are as clear as knowing Jesus Christ and following in his footsteps, which doesn't mean it's easy, but it's not advanced mathematics. It's not an algebra problem with multiple variables. It's not that at all. Um, and we try to make it that because we like puzzling out the mysteries, because we like figuring things out and feeling that sense of accomplishment. So this is as old as the church itself, that people who think they're sharing the truth are taking human systems of thought, human processes of reason, and which are flawed to begin with, and applying them to Scripture and arriving at all sorts of weird ideas, and then spreading those. And that's what's happening here. And he says, "I don't want anyone to take you captive." The phrase he uses is a word from piracy. It's to carry off booty. It's when the raiders come to a village and pile everything in the ship and go off with it. It's violent, the word that he uses. No one take you captive through philosophy, empty deception, according to the tradition of men, the elementary principles of the world, through these human systems of thought. And they just don't. That's why when I see a book that says systematic theology on it, I don't pick it up. Whose system? Seriously. Um, um, he's saying Jesus contains everything that is God in his body. In him, all the fullness of deity dwells in bodily form. Jesus in himself, in this moment, Jesus who is permanently altered since his incarnation, Jesus who is fully human and fully divine as we speak. Jesus contains everything that is God in himself. And if that's the case, then everything we need as small, limited, finite human beings is contained in Jesus because he contains the infinity of God. And we don't need anything else but Jesus. We don't need Jesus and this, Jesus and that. We don't need Jesus plus. We don't need hyphenated Christianity. We need to know Jesus himself. As the Hebrew writer will say in Hebrews chapter 1, verses 1 through 3, God has communicated us in a variety of ways over the years, but now he has one message, and that message is a person, and the person is Jesus Christ. He is sufficient, and beyond being sufficient, he is the ruler over all. He has all rule and all authority. Okay, we'll continue with this thought next time. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.